On September 22, 1958, in the small village of Lahatico near Pisa, a boy named Andrea Bocelli was born into a modest farming family. His father, Alessandro, worked with agricultural machinery and vineyards, while his mother, Edie, filled their home with warmth and music. The rolling Tuscan hills, the whisper of wind through grapevines, and the distant hum of tractors formed the soundtrack of his childhood. Even before he entered the world, doctors warned his mother of complications and advised against continuing the pregnancy. She refused. That decision would later become central to Bocelli's belief in life's sacredness and purpose. Born with congenital glaucoma, he could see only shadows and light. Yet what he lacked in sight, he gained in listening. Sound became his compass. He remembers the texture of his mother's voice more clearly than any image. In that farmhouse, without wealth or privilege, something extraordinary quietly took root, a sensitivity to beauty that would one day echo across continents. Learning to see through sound music was not a hobby for Bocelli. It was survival. As a child, he gravitated toward instruments, piano first, then flute, guitar, trumpet, and drums. At 6 years old, he began formal piano lessons, quickly revealing a rare gift. He could reproduce melodies perfectly after hearing them once. When a football accident at age 12 led to a brain hemorrhage and complete blindness, his world went dark forever. Yet in that darkness, sound grew brighter. He learned Braille music notation, reading with his fingertips and memorizing complex compositions before playing them fluidly. He once said, "I hear and I see through sound." For him, music was architecture, structures built not of bricks, but of vibration and emotion. In a hospital room, after losing his sight, he listened to recordings of the great tenor Franco Corelli and felt a calling awaken. If he could no longer see the world, perhaps he could help others feel it more deeply. Darkness stopped being an enemy and became, instead, a canvas. Boarding school and the discipline of memory. Bocelli attended a boarding school for the blind, far from home and familiarity. The dormitories were crowded, the routine strict, and loneliness often crept in at night. Yet those years forged resilience. He trained his memory to an astonishing degree, storing lectures, melodies, and entire scores in his mind. Later, while studying law at the University of Pisa, he recorded lectures and memorized them word for word. By day, he pursued legal studies to honor his parents' wishes. By night, he played piano in smoky bars to pay tuition. The noise would fade when he began to sing. Those small stages were his apprenticeship, teaching him how to reach distracted hearts. He has often reflected that discipline, not talent alone, built his career. The rigor of law sharpened his intellect, while music nurtured his spirit. Though he earned a law degree and briefly practiced, the courtroom never felt like home. The melodies inside him refused to be silenced, the break that changed everything. In 1992, fate arrived quietly. Italian rock singer Zucchero was preparing a demo of Miserere for the legendary Luciano Pavarotti and needed a tenor voice. Bocelli auditioned. When Pavarotti heard the recording, he reportedly asked why his own voice was needed when this young singer had already delivered something extraordinary. That endorsement changed everything. Bocelli joined Zucchero on tour, stepping from obscurity into vast European arenas. In 1994, he won the newcomers section at the San Remo Music Festival, capturing Italy's attention. His blend of classical training and emotional accessibility felt fresh. Unlike traditional opera stars, he spoke softly, dressed simply, and carried himself without theatrical arrogance. Within a few years, he had crossed borders, languages, and genres. What audiences felt was not just technique, but vulnerability, a man singing not to impress, but to connect, love, marriage, and early family life. Behind the public triumphs was a private life rooted in love and complexity. Bocelli married Enrica Cenzati in 1992. She had first heard him sing in a piano bar and felt something unforgettable in his voice. Together, they built a quiet family life in Tuscany and welcomed 2 sons, Amos, and Matteo. During those early years, she supported his ambitions, believing in his potential before the world did. As his tours expanded, however, distance grew. Fame demands movement. Family longs for presence. By 2002, they chose to separate amicably, focusing on raising their children with mutual respect. Bocelli has always spoken of her with gratitude, acknowledging her role in his formative years. Their story reflects a truth many couples face. Love can be sincere and still struggle under extraordinary pressures. What remained constant was his devotion to his sons, who would later share the stage with him. A second chapter with Veronica Berti. In the same year his first marriage ended, Bocelli met Veronica Berti. Their connection was immediate, grounded in shared faith and mutual trust. Over time, she became not only his partner, but also his manager and closest collaborator. They married in 2014 and welcomed a daughter, Virginia. Berti's steady presence brought balance to a life often lived in transit. She helped organize tours, oversee projects, and co-lead the Andrea Bocelli Foundation, established in 2011 to support education and disaster relief initiatives. Those who observed them describe a partnership built on calm assurance rather than spectacle. Bocelli has said that harmony is the foundation of lasting love, a blend of understanding and shared purpose. In Berti, he found not only companionship but grounding, someone who could navigate the practical world while he remained immersed in art. Music for Hope in a Silent Cathedral. In April 2020, as the world grappled with the COVID-19 pandemic, Bocelli stood alone inside the Duomo di Milano for a live-streamed concert titled Music for Hope. The vast cathedral was empty. No applause followed his final note. Yet more than 180 million viewers watched online as he sang Amazing Grace and other sacred pieces. The silence between notes felt as powerful as the music itself. In a time of isolation and fear, his voice carried a message of resilience. Later that year, he faced controversy after expressing personal concerns about lockdown restrictions during a speech at the Italian Senate. He clarified and apologized if his words caused hurt, emphasizing compassion for those who suffered. Through both admiration and misunderstanding, he maintained a consistent tone, measured, sincere, rooted in faith. Philanthropy and a return to roots beyond performance, Bocelli has dedicated significant energy to philanthropy. Through the Andrea Bocelli Foundation, he has supported schools in Haiti, rebuilt communities after natural disasters, and funded programs for children with disabilities. He often says that gratitude must translate into action. At home in Tuscany, he remains deeply connected to his roots. He founded the open-air Teatro del Silenzio, which hosts a single annual concert before returning to silence. The symbolism is unmistakable. Music emerges from stillness and then yields to it again. He also oversees the family winery, Bocelli 1831, preserving generations of agricultural heritage. Despite global fame, his daily routines are simple: morning rehearsals, horseback rides, shared meals. In these rhythms, he finds equilibrium, health, vulnerability, and continuing legacy. In recent years, Bocelli has faced health challenges that required postponing performances to protect his voice. He speaks of his instrument with reverence, likening it to an athlete's body that must be safeguarded. He has admitted to experiencing stage fright even after decades of acclaim. Vulnerability, for him, is not weakness, but honesty. With over 90 million records sold, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and countless honors, he could easily rest on legacy alone. Yet he continues to tour, often performing with his sons. His story is not one of flawless triumph, but of persistence. He transformed blindness into heightened perception and adversity into empathy. When he sings, listeners sense something larger than performance, a reminder that light can be cultivated from within. And perhaps that is why his music endures. It does not promise a life without darkness, only the courage to sing through it.